Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's webinar about innovative camera systems for conference rooms. My name is Leon Gall. I'm a product manager at Exertis in Germany, responsible for Lumens, and I'm delighted to welcome Mr. Joris Nevens, who is general manager for Lumens in Europe.
Yeah, hello everybody. Thank you for joining the event today. So I think we can start the event now. So again, thank you for being here. And here you have a little bit of an agenda of what we're gonna speak about today. We're gonna talk about the products we launched after the ISE show. Also, you know, InfoComm is coming, so a lot of new updates are coming on our product. So we will talk about that too. New features and the new cost-saving, time-saving workflows at Lumens.
Just one quick information before we start. We will answer your potential questions you might have. At the end of the presentation, we will have a detailed CamConnect demo, because we are set in a demo room as well. And I would suggest, if you have any questions in the meantime, please keep them for the Q&A session, or just use the chat function of your team sessions. Thank you. Joris, go ahead.
Thank you, Leon. And did you see how we sneaked in a little preview of the demo of the room we have here with the CamConnect? So when we continue on the agenda, we will show you new voice tracking and audio tracking products, 4K Full HD encoders and decoders, Dante, non-Dante, the new Stream Select product, and also in the end, we will talk shortly about our lecture capture system. Then we will do a short demo in the room that you can see how the switching on the camera works. With the CamConnect, I will show you also the inside of the device, so the web browser, what you can do, how easy it is to set up. And then, as Leon says, we can do the questions in the end to make it a bit more schematic. So we will talk about the CamConnect. As you can see, this is now a setup of how a CamConnect looks with a switch over the network and a ceiling microphone. For the people who are new to CamConnect, just want to briefly start with how did we start with CamConnect? We started with CamConnect as being a software on a Windows PC that was connected over the network to a microphone. I have to say, in this room, we are using a RMCG from the ADECIA series from YAMAHA, also a DSP and some speakers. But what we do is we talk always directly to the microphone. And then with the old software, we could connect over USB, a PTZ camera, and we could start. Why did we stop from this platform? Is because we got out of the field that people said, hey, it's nice to have a Windows-based system. It's not expensive because there is already a PC. The downside is Windows updates, reliability. Do you want your meeting room to be fully run by a Windows PC that needs to run 7 days a week, or let's say 5 days a week? So that's why we came to the box. As you can see, it's a black box. We're not going to show too long this picture, but what do you have? On the left top, you see we have a power button, and an LED status light. We also have, if you look under, a USB-C power input, and then a USB-C out and HDMI out. They can work both at the same time if you want it to be, or they can work independently, and you can set up that only one of the two works. And then on the right top, you see that we have an Ethernet port to connect to the microphones, to connect to the cameras, because that is now changed. With this box, you don't need to connect the camera over USB. You can, you see, there is a USB port, but you can do everything over IP, which makes it very easy to install. Power is sent by the switch to the microphone, power is sent to the camera, and then the image and the control goes over the same camera. The secondary USB port you can use if you want to, for using with a mouse or a keyboard, if you want to set it up that way using the HDMI. And then, how many microphones can you connect? We're now showing the limits of the box. We can connect up to 16 microphones. It's a lot. I've never seen 16 microphones in one small room. Where we've seen higher numbers of microphones, that is in these dividable rooms where, you know, one room is 80% of the time used as a conference room, like here. But then once every quarter, the sales team, the marketing team all joins together and they need to listen to a PowerPoint, the status of the company. Then you can open all these rooms and set up and use all the microphones that are in the room, that are in these individual rooms. And we can connect up to 4 different cameras to the CamConnect to work together. How can you do 4 IP cameras or 3 IP cameras and 1 USB camera? So the limit is 4 for the total cameras. The limit for USB is 1, and the limit for IP is, of course, 4. Now we are here in this lovely room in the today sunny Oeingen. It's 26 degrees outside. I will want to make this thing short because in here it's quite chilly and dark. But what do we have here? We have the room, and the left side you see how we set it up the room, or how our friends here from Exertis set it up the room. In the middle you have a big LED wall from LG. Next to it you have a new line screen to show meetings or different forms. But then the most important parts are in the middle of the room, we have an RMCG hanging there, which sends the Dante and the control over IP to a Netgear switch. Then we have 2 nicely Dante speakers from Yamaha on either side of the screen. And in the back of the room, we also have a RMCR, the DSP from Yamaha, which gives over USB the sound to the MTR that is in the room. On the other side, you see that we have 3 cameras. We positioned 2 in the front to catch all the people in the room, and then we positioned 1 in the back to position the people who are sitting in the front sometimes, or if there is a presentation on the LED wall to take the people. And everything is then connected over IP again to that same Netgear switch. How we did the presets, you will see later, but basically we decided to take a preset per table. So that means roughly around 3 people will use the same preset. Why? You don't want excess movement of the camera. Of course, that's up to you to set up. We can do 128 presets with the CamConnect, but a lot of customers prefer not too much presets. Then I hear you talk, or are you thinking, which microphones can you connect? You see on the left side, this is publicly available on our website. You see that we support all major brands going from Audio-Technica to Yamaha, over the Sennheiser DCC2, the Shure MXA 920, the Yamaha RMCG that you see here, and of course also our Canadian friends from Nureva. On the right side, you see the available cameras. As you can see, at the moment, we only support Lumens cameras. Why Lumens box? We can then we control the whole room or the whole system by our own camera, so we know what is going on. Basically, I can say every camera from us is in some shape or form connectable to the CamConnect. You see, if it's an IP camera, it's always a yes on the IP side. If it's a USB camera, it's always a yes on the USB side. Then there is a special range which called the NDI cameras. The NDI cameras are available over USB, some of them to the CamConnect, or what you can do is you can turn the NDI camera to RTSP stream, and that will be connected to the CamConnect. So basically, all of the Lumens installed, or most of the Lumens installed cameras will work with the CamConnect, and all of the new ones will. If you need more information, you can contact your sales rep or the product manager, Leon. He doesn't know what to do. You can contact him, or you can contact us or Robert Kollerick, who is also in the call and is your sales manager. Now in June, I told you, June Infocom time, we need to fill a stand and we need to talk about something. So always around Infocom, we come with big updates on products, and that's also on the CamConnect side. So I picked a few of the updates. Some of them are under the skin just to optimize the process. Some of them are adding new microphones, like, for example, the YAMAHA RM-W, which is a tabletop wireless microphone. And we will be able to connect to these microphones. We already do. What is the problem? It's now a bit technical. We didn't got the dB level of the microphone. So if somebody by accident left open his mic and somebody pushed, it is difficult to know who is talking or not. So now with the new firmware, we also get the dB level. So if every microphone is open live, we still be able to see where the preset is coming from because we take the dB level. Then we also will implement the RMTT, which is the wired version, the smallest version of the YAMAHA ADECIA series. We will also implement that microphone. And then we also optimized the restricted areas or the exclusion zones, to be honest, and the priority zones in the ADECIA series so that we can play around, or you as a dealer can play around with priorities and exclusion zones. Then the major update on a different brand is the Shure MXA 920. The Shure MXA 920, how we do it now is we look at the different lobes and we set up a preset with a lobe, and that's it. But from June, we also optimized that we get XYZ data. We always got it, but we needed to find a way how to use it. So that means now we need to set up presets for any lobe that there comes out of the Shure. With XYZ, we just need to align the cameras with the microphone, and basically you can do preset less work because we get XYZ zones from the microphone. And then there is an update on the AI feature. The AI feature is now generally, you can say, follow a person or center a person, you know, if you want, but that's for all presets. Now, remember the room we have here in Oingen. We have on the front, we have the, let's say, LED wall. We can say in that angle or the interactive screen angle there, you just go to the person and then you start. You don't do that on other presets. But what is the nice feature? In here, we have an A51P, which is normally not a tracking camera. Once the feature is there, we will make the A51P a tracking camera by the CamConnect. So it's not the camera who does it, but it will be a feature that comes from the CamConnect box. All right. Big thing. Lumens starts making cars. No, our marketing guy wanted to make a joke. So we're not making cars, but we're going to now start talking about the new products we're going to release. They go about audio and video tracking cameras, encoders, decoders, and all-in-one switchers. To start, I want to say the current lineup of our tracking cameras. So the oldest one is the middle one. The TR40 is like roughly 1.5 years old. 2 lenses, 20 times optical zoom, full HD. We choose most of our cameras double lens because why? It has less possibility to fail because the bottom camera will control the top camera. Then we have now his little brother, the TR30. He's a bit cheaper, but we don't make that for a cheaper camera. It's just the TR40 has 20 times optical zoom and a horizontal field of view of 58 degrees. More than good enough for this room, big rooms, auditoriums. You know, the distance is there, so the angle will take every person. But when you're in a meeting room or a smaller room, you want a wide angle. And that's why we added the features of the R30 or the new R31. We added tracking functions in there with a double lens again, and it's the TR30. And then we make a TR60 single lens tracking. So there it is the top lens who will give you the image, but also gives you the ability to track. And the TR60 is a 4K camera. All of them have USB, HDMI, and IP out at the same time. Even 2 times USB, I see that's not true. It's only 1 USB. Sorry for that error in the PowerPoint. But then a camera that we're all looking forward to since we demoed it at the ISE at its prototype status. It's the TR60A. It's not the same as the TR60, it's TR60A. The A stands for audio, and it also has two lenses. You can see on the top and the bottom. So panoramic lens of 121 degrees, but we limit it to 110 because if we would show you the full image, you would be in a fishbowl. And then we have an 81 degrees top lens. Remember, 12 times optical zoom, high horizontal field of view, so we can use it in different areas. But maybe you can see it here. The big feature of this camera is we have 6 beamforming microphones. One caveat, they are not used for audio. So you cannot use them for the audio. We limited that, but they can detect where the sound is coming from. And then it can control the top camera. So it is a video tracking camera with the second lens, but it's also an audio tracking camera. And how does that look like? Okay, during a webinar, it's difficult to show, but this is now a snapshot of a room, let's say. What we get is we have a room and it's divided in a grid. And you see the blue line that signifies that is the guy who is talking. So in that line, we detect that the sound is coming from. And then the AI technology or the video technology comes in and it's gonna look if it sees a person. If it sees a person, it can frame that guy. If he sees that it's a radio or something not human, he's gonna ignore it because there is intelligence inside that it's only gonna frame on a human person. And then there are further setups, those we will show in a video later, where you can say, what does it need to do when you have a discussion, constant discussion between two people? Do you want a ping pong or do you want an auto frame? And these kind of settings, do you want it more out of an auto framing meeting room, or do you want to have it like a presentation, you know, in an auditorium where it can be used? Somebody is on the screen, he's walking, we're just tracking him, and then somebody else starts to talk. Hup, then we can send the audio. Thanks to the audio, we can send the camera there, and he starts tracking him. So that's a benefit against only video tracking cameras, where you basically need to leave a stage or press a button or do a gesture like waving with your hands. This can be all solved by the audio. And then the next feature that has been asked for our cameras is we will do natively inside of the camera picture in picture. So we can have the wide angle image plus the top angle, so the PTZ, and we can show you that image or give you that image over USB and HDMI. So that means for interviews, for courtrooms where, for example, you need to be constantly aware of who is in the room, you can use the wide angle in the picture in picture, and you can have in the top, you can have the PTZ camera, or you can inverse it, having the wide angle big and the picture in picture small. How does that go? Simple as that. For a Teams meeting, a Zoom meeting, Google Meets, everything, you just use the USB out of the camera, plug it into your PC, and you're there. If you want to do a lecture capture system or any system that requires, for example, HDMI, you just have the HDMI out into the lecture capture system. Me as Lumens, I prefer, of course, a lecture capture system from Lumens, but this will work with any system. And then on the stream, there is no combination. We don't send one stream out. What we can do is we can offer you a high quality stream of the top camera and a high quality stream of the bottom camera that you then can mix into the lecture capture system yourself, how you like it to be done. That was the part about the cameras that we do. We now will talk a bit more about our new encoders and decoders. So the encoders are sending an HDMI input, a USB input, very important also USB inputs or display ports, over to a decoder, and then you convert it to HDMI. Until there, nothing very special. We don't do it with this series, not over a proprietary protocol. We are using RTSP and the IHX, maybe something different, because that means you can use any RTSP source. You don't need an encoder. You can decode it on the decoder side. But what is already special is we immediately can convert it also to USB. So that means you can use this as an extender, or to extend a source of a camera, for example, that is hanging on the back. You can extend it, convert it to HDMI, but more, you can immediately convert it to USB into a PC, and you don't need a box after a box after a box. And then you can control this also by a toggle wheel, I will explain, and over API. We will also be able to create video walls with this, and we will enable Dante. On a bit more of a deep dive on the outside of the decoder, you see here this decoder has on the right picture, you see 4K HDMI out. We have audio in and out. If you still have analog audio, you can do it. Or for talkback functions in broadcast environment, it has a PoE port. So you can power it over IP, and you can get the ND-IHX RTSP signals into the decoder. On the left side, you see a Type-C decoder that can send to the decoder, that decodes your signal into your PC. That works simultaneously, so you don't have to choose C or a USB or HDMI. You can if you want, but you don't. And then you have a USB for adding UAC to audio or video. What you need to notice, you can individually change the resolution of the HDMI and the USB. So your HDMI can be for high resolution 4K, for example, but your USB-C, let's say you're doing a Teams call, no need to do the compression on the PC. Let's do the compression on the device, our device that is built for it. Put it on 1080p, 25, 720p, 50. You can mix and match. And then there is a menu toggle wheel for easy instant setup, or if you want to switch or toggle between the inputs. And then, of course, when you have a decoder, you want to sell an encoder too. On the right, again, you see we have an HDMI in for your source, an HDMI out to preview your source if you want, or loop it through if you need to. Again, the two audio jacks, the Ethernet does the same. And then we have the USB-C display port in, and then we have the menu toggle wheel. What is important on both devices, they can be PoE powered, but they can also be USB powered. And we have two tele lights. Naturally, it is a grayish color, and then you can set it up to be green, orange, red, to show, if needed, which encoder is doing the work. So this is an easy design. You see, you have display port, you go to an encoder, you go over our friends from Netgear. Every time €1 in my pocket when I say Netgear, Richard, you hear me? And then we go to a decoder, HDMI to a screen, USB to a PC. That's the standard way of working with the decoder. But what can we also do? We can use these encoders and decoders as transcoders. What does that mean? Imagine you have a TV, you have a camera, it's USB, you have a laptop. How do I get the image of my PC onto the screen? How do I get the USB onto my PC, again, onto that screen? So what do? We connect USB to the USB-A port of the decoder. We then send it over the network to the encoder, who then becomes a decoder and will transcode the signal as a webcam, offer you the camera as a webcam to the PC. This is also an easy way how to extend for a good price the USB signal over IP to any source. What is also nice, if this is a TR30 camera, it will come up into your camera list as a TR30. We don't make it any exotic name, encoder 60D camera or something. No, it's the actual name of the camera. And then what do? We use the same USB-C connection. We use, let's say, the display port, and encode that signal back to the decoder. And then over HDMI, you get the total image of your laptop plus the webcam sent to your TV. for extending the signal both ways. Again, because we're using RTSP, you don't need to use an encoder if your source is RTSP. And then again, whoop, whoop, the famous Infocom updates. What we will also do is, we talked about the picture-in-picture on the TR60A camera. It can do it natively. Our other cameras don't. So what will we do is, we will have an update on the OIP-60D, where you can create the layout of a picture-in-picture of a side-by-side, where you can take the top camera and the bottom camera streams, combine it together of any of our cameras, and then deliver it over USB as a webcam and as a over HDMI as a source. It doesn't need to be one camera, it can be multiple cameras where you mix and match their RTSP or NDI streams together. And then as a last, Joris, you say you are an AV company, but you talk an awful lot about video and not about audio. Patat. So we thought about that too. So thanks to the new the Dante AV-H, we are now able to take the regular OIP-60D box, charge you some money. We need to pay that to Audinate, and then put Dante AV-H on the box. What does that mean? Yeah, we can take in signals from a Dante AV-H video source, like a TR60 Dante. That's nice. But what we can also do is, we can take the audio from any Dante-enabled source. Is it a microphone? Any Dante microphone with echo cancellation we will take in. Or is it from a Dante DSP? We will take in the Dante source, convert it to USB and offer it to your PC, and then take a Dante AV-H source and hand it out to the PC. But there are not so many Dante AV-H sources in the video world, so we will also be able to take an RTSP source, so mix and match the sources and give to you as one USB. The switching between these sources we cannot do. For that, you need to set it up with the Dante controller, which is a free software to set up to connect transmitter to receiver. So basically, in this case, it would be RMCG, connect yourself to the OIP-60D Dante. I told you about DSPs, they can do the echo cancellation, but if you have microphones that can do echo cancellation inside, for smaller rooms, you then don't need a DSP, because what we do is, we take the Dante source in and we convert it to USB. But what we then do again on the other side is, we take the sound from the other side, let's say Teams call, we convert that back and send that to the microphone as a reference line. So then the microphone does the echo cancellation out of his own. I'm not here sitting for complex rooms, for big rooms. Throw away the DSP, replace it by the little box from Lumens and you're there. No, in complex rooms, big rooms, you need the DSP. But for example, these tabletop Dante microphones are a perfect example. Also, an RMCG in a smaller room is very capable and works with the OIP-60D Dante. Now, we have had cameras, we have had encoders and decoders. Now we have a new way of controlling both of them. So I start with the cameras. So what we have a new VSKB21 joystick controller. Looks very similar to the one we had before. It has IP port, RS232, RS422 control, on-VIF, VSCA over IP, you name it, we can do it. But when you take a good look at the picture, you see we also have a preview window. What does that mean? You press CAM1 to CAM7, for example, and you set it up in the web browser of the device. And what you can do is, you don't need an extended screen or something to see how is the shot going. No, you can check it through the little preview monitor. Joris, do you have an HDMI out? No, we don't have an HDMI out. Why? Because we don't believe in a preview window with an HDMI out, because if I do the switching over the HDMI, that means I have no preview, because whatever I preview goes out to the HDMI into my encoder, into my lecture capture system. What we believe in is a combination of the joystick plus the OIP-60D converter, and we call that the stream select. What does that mean? You take all your cameras, let's say 3 cameras in this case, cam 1 to cam 3, you connect all the sources, being it NDI, then you pay the license for NDI on the cameras and on the joystick, or being it RTSP, you connect them to the OIP-60D, voila, cam 1, cam 2, cam 3. You do the same thing with the joystick. You set it up, cam 1, cam 2, cam 3. And then what can you do is I can press cam 1, I get the preview screen, I can play around with the joystick, change the white balance, change the position, and then I hit a predefined button, F1 or F2, and that will send the command to the OIP-60D to make a switch. So that means we had once we started with a converter, it's there, we have a joystick there, and now we combine them together to make a joystick switch converter, everything in one. And because we're going IP, distance is not a problem. So you can have the joystick here on the table, and I can have my OIP-60D in another room or 2 floors down next to my server, into my server rack, and I can do the switching from the joystick. And then as a last, I want to talk about the new LC300 and LC300S. The S stands for 12GSDI. So that means we have a standard version 4K, always 4K 60 frames per second, without 12GSDI. Why? 12GSDI costs money, as well on the camera side as on the component side for us to build it in. So we offer a 4K version without 12GSDI, and then for a premium price, or not a premium, a bit more money, we have the 12GSDI. For the rest, we have 3GSDI input, for HDMI inputs for the 4K. We do NDI checks, full NDI, in and out. We do RTSP, RTMP, SRT, the whole thing. We combine it into the box. And we also have XLR or phantom powered audio in and out on the box. What is also well noticed to tell is we have 2 Ethernet ports, a WAN and a LAN. You can set one up for control, streaming, I don't know, that's one. And you can set up the other one to connect all the peripherals to make sure that nobody can come into your network and start controlling your units. And with this device, we can have whatever IP addresses you have available. That is the amount of sources we can connect to the device, and then you can switch the sources to record and stream at the same time 5 sources. I mean 5 images. What are the 5 images? The 4 ISO files that you select and your program. They all come with their individual sound settings. So you can have camera 1 with sound 1, camera 2 with sound 2, the program with a mix of it all. You can record it, stream it, and also individually send it like Panopto, Kaltura, so that the customer can individually choose afterwards which layout he wants to see. Before we do the presentation, I just need to drink because I talk too much. And now Leon and I will give you a short demo of the room we have here in Oingen, just to repeat again. Also because all these manufacturers paid, so we need to give them some street credibility. We have a Netgear switch in the center. We have the YAMAHA ADECIA RMCR and RMCG microphone and DSP, joined by the speakers on the side. Leon, how are the speakers named? Because I forgot.
VXL1P16W is the exact description of the speaker. Yeah, but however, they're great for a conference room like that, and if you need to transfer an audio and yeah, the sound very far in the back of the room. Just to be complete, here in here is also an LG LED wall, 136 inch LED wall joined by a secondary display for MTR applications, which is a 65 inch touch display from Newline, together with the MTR solution. Joris used the meantime already to relocate in the room to show you how the tracking system is working in here.
So if I now start talking in the back of the room, you will see that the camera came to me. We set it up 2 cameras with motionless preset, so that means it will go to the position and then show you. Some of the cameras can show you the angle. It's also maybe nice to show that we are moving around in this room and we don't need to worry in which direction we are talking. The microphone will pick it up, give it to you as a sound, and also control the camera.
Another good thing is about the 2 systems together. I'm talking about the YAMAHA ADECIA ceiling microphone, is that we'll get a clear audio data, so it's already filtered the potential noises which are maybe in a room from a AC unit or a beamer or a fan or whatever. So the CamConnect system does not get disturbed by any noises which are made in the room. For example, if I just scratch a table or something. Yeah, and this is how it works. And we also have a camera at the back of the room, which Joris mentioned earlier. If I go there, don't worry, the presets are made for people sitting, not standing. That's why you don't see my face at the moment. And if I'm standing right here, we have VCA51P at the back, which has a little bit more optical zoom, and we have 4 presets defined here at the front of the room or in front of the display. So if I move here during my speech, the camera is following me, and even when I'm standing in front of the touch display, maybe writing something down here, the camera is following.
Voila. I think you now saw enough of the 2 bunnies jumping around into the room. If you want to see us more jump around, we will put this on YouTube, and if we have 10,000 likes, we will do that for you. But now, after this, before we go into the questions, if there are any, we now are into the web browser of the CamConnect. What do you get here? You see it is live, so some things are grayed out. I cannot show, but what do you need to set up? In here you have the array microphone number, so basically this is the number of microphones you have in your room. In this case it's 1, and here you have a button, start, stop voice tracking. So if you don't want to use the room, you just send the command stop voice tracking and it will do. In here you can set up the amount of presets. And then the most important thing to do during installation is know which device you're installing. So you get a list, you select the microphone, and you need to set up the IP address. Make sure don't use the Dante IP address, use the control IP address. That's sometimes a mistake that the Dante IP address is used. We only check the control IP address. And then you hit this button, connect, and you go. Few settings you need to do is audio trigger level. Basically, do you want, let's say if there is a door with this microphone, it's not needed because it's to speaker detection, as Leon said. But some microphones, if they're stand next to a fan or something, or you want to not have the scratching, you can put the threshold for reaction a bit higher. Also, the trigger time, you can set from 0.1 seconds to 5 seconds, depending on how you want to do it. And then you can set up, if nobody talks in this room for X amount of seconds, in here it's 20. What do we do? And then back home, which camera needs to go to the home position and deliver you the image. And then I will show you how to connect the cameras, but then you just need to walk around. And if you see here on the web browser, the numbers are changing here. I need to refresh. So if I'm talking over here, you see that the number is live changing. We are in preset area 1. And if I move around, you see also the angle data move. So basically, that's how you make a cake
For example, take a look at the green dot, which jumped now to the 6th or 7th. It's the 6th preset. If I'm talking and if Joris starts to talk again, it's back at the 1st.
Yeah, you see the green light, plus you see the angle data change. So the green light is just a quick reference to check. The angle data is a nice feature coming from Robert Kollerick in the Czech Republic to give us the angle data to easily set up and to have a picture. With some manufacturers like Sennheiser, you have a live cone that moves, but we give you the data also so you can set up the cake, you choose the camera, you set up the preset, and there you are. How do you get your cameras? The first time you connect it, the cameras are on the same network. They need to be on the same network. For control, they need to be on the same subnet. And then you get here the information. You see we have 3 cameras. They are connected over IP. They are connected as a status. And PTZ control is a feature. When you touch it, it will open the web browser of the camera. And you can set up all the presets. In here, in the video output setting, you can choose, do we do UVC and HDMI or only UVC or HDMI? And then seamless switching is just the switching between people that only one camera is live. You can create layouts, setups that you do in this part of the web browser. And here you just have the network settings, so don't take too long. Profiles, this is, in here you could set up profiles, what we talked about. There is a nice divider wall behind me. If we open that, we can create profile 2, saying RMCG that is there connected together with this RMCG. Please now combine. What is nice, if we have a Sennheiser TCC 2 over there and an RMCG over here, doesn't matter. You know, we can mix and match different microphones to one CamConnect box and set it up to react. And then one major setup to be done is auto connection. What does that mean? When you turn off the device or you send a standby command to the device and you wake it up again, what do you want it to do? In this case, it needs to connect to the sound device, it needs to connect to the cameras and give you a USB output. Voila. And then the only thing I have to say is what we show here is the magnificent logo of Lumens. But this ends the presentation that we had prepared for you. Are there any questions from people?
No questions so far. Can you stop sharing on the MTR device?
Yep.
No questions so far in the chat. Feel free to ask anything you want to know. Arthur Filan. I believe you have to type your questions because we use a different kind of form of Teams today, which is a webinar option. So you can't enable your microphone, unfortunately. Maybe you want to just type in your question real quick. I got my cue. Ooh. Did you saw the question? What is the band rate of USB over IP in OIP-N60D?
Oh, yeah. That I need, sorry to say, you have a simple sales guy sitting in front of you. The only thing I know is that for NDI, we recommend over IP between 7,000 and 15,000 megabits for the IP connection, going from 1080p to 4K. We can set it as low as possible on the IP side, as on the RTSP side, 3,000 to 4,000 megabits. Is this the answer, or otherwise I will have to ask it to the engineers and I come back to you?
We have Arthur's contact information.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Can you control IP with Visca? At the moment, not. It has a control called CGI, so it will be able to be controlled by CGI commands to switch the sources, change the resolution, change the layout. That will be done over API CGI, not over Visca. As okay, you can, but there are no Visca was made for camera control, and there are no standard Visca commands to do these kind of things.
Another question was if the PowerPoint presentation will be available after the meeting. Yes, it will be. You will receive a link with the recording of the webinar and with the presentation deck. We will provide you a link with all products which were displayed today, so you have all information afterwards. Any more questions? You're welcome. Okay, no more questions in the meantime. Like I just mentioned, you will receive a mailing after the webinar, I believe this afternoon or this evening, with all contact information, with all information about the webinar and the products which we showed to you today. So you will have the possibility to reach out if there are any questions. You will receive a link to all products to the web shop. And if we can assist somehow, feel free to contact anytime your account manager, Robert Kollerick, your account manager from Exertis, or to us in our headquarters directly. We will help you anytime. Thank you so much.
All right, then it's my turn to say thank you very much to be here over the lunchtime. We try to make it not 1 hour so that you can still have some time to eat. But as Leon said, if there is any question, demo request, if you have a project, Robert and I can always help you with this too. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Goodbye.